Here's a myth that is holding back thousands of business owners. Virtual assistants from agencies are just temporary help and they will disappear in a few months and you'll be left starting over. I'm Nicole Magelssen, founder and CEO of Alpine Virtual, and this is part of our VA Myths Debunked series where I'm going to break down why this misconception exists and what the reality actually looks like when you work with a virtual assistant agency. This myth is so widespread, I hear about it almost daily. Business owners tell me that they avoid agencies entirely because they believe that hiring directly is going to give them more stability and more control. They think that going through an agency means sacrificing the long-term relationship that they could build with an independent contractor. But here is what is actually happening in the industry and why the right agencies actually provide more stability than if you went at it alone. So first, let's acknowledge where this myth comes from. Many business owners have had experience with agencies that treat virtual assistants like interchangeable parts, or they've heard horror stories from colleagues. The perception is that if you hire through an agency, you're going to lose the personal connection and that stability that you would get from hiring someone directly. But that is only true with very certain types of agencies, and that is not at all the whole story. The agencies that build lasting partnerships understand something that a lot of business owners don't realize. It's this well-structured agency relationship can actually provide you with a lot more stability than hiring independently. Here's why that may feel a little counterintuitive, but it is actually true. When you hire a virtual assistant independently, you're running a one-person HR department. So if that person that you hire, if they get sick, if they go on vacation, if someone decides to leave, then you as a business owner, you're back at square one. You're handling all of the management. You're restarting with training. You're doing a new hiring process that takes up time, and you're backup planning yourself. With the right agency, you get the stability of a dedicated person, plus you get the security of a whole support system behind you. So what separates agencies that build lasting relationships from those that create the turnover problem? Let me break down a few key factors that determine whether an agency will give you more or less stability than hiring independently. The first factor is how the agency is going to approach the client-VA relationship. Poor agencies treat VAs like they're these interchangeable resources that can be swapped in and out. Quality agencies are going to focus on creating dedicated partnerships where you work with the same person long term, but the agency is going to support you behind the scenes, and they're going to support the VA behind the scenes. They're looking for people who understand business operations, who can think strategically, and who can genuinely want to be part of your business growth journey. The second factor is infrastructure and support system. When you hire independently, if your VA has questions or if they have challenges, they are figuring it out on their own and they're likely billing you that time. With a good agency, your VA has access to ongoing training, to peer support, and to management guidance that actually is going to make them more effective and more likely to stay engaged long term. The third factor, and this could possibly be the most important, is how the client relationship is structured. When business owners approach virtual assistants as this long-term partnership rather than short-term help or someone to just take care of small tasks here and there, everything changes. Instead of just delegating tasks, they're sharing context, they're providing feedback, and they're investing in this long-term relationship. So let me give you a real example of how this plays out. We have clients who have been working with the same virtual assistant since we started 6 years ago. That virtual assistant started by just doing small tasks like managing some emails and some calendars, but over time, they have become vital to the business's operations. They understand their client's industry in and out. They know the key players and the key clients, and they can frequently contribute ideas for improvement. This obviously did not happen overnight. It happened because both the client and the virtual assistant were committed to building something that's going to last. So the client invested time in training and in feedback, and they eventually gave them access to more and more things, more personal parts of their business. And the virtual assistant invested in learning the business deeply. The agency provided ongoing support and development opportunities for the VA so they could grow. Here's what most people don't realize about virtual assistant turnover. It's often not about money or about workload. It's about feeling valued and about having opportunities for growth. Virtual assistants leave when they feel like they're stuck doing the same basic tasks and there's no progression, or when they don't feel connected to the business that they are supporting. So the agencies that are going to retain talent long-term, they understand this and they create career development paths for the virtual assistants so that you don't have to. They facilitate deeper client relationships and they provide ongoing training and skill development for the VAs. They treat their VAs as vital parts of their agency. They treat them like they are professionals and they're not just this pair of hands. So let's talk about what this means for you as a business owner. If you're considering working with a virtual assistant agency, you're going to want to ask these questions. 1, how do they recruit their VAs? What kind of ongoing training do they provide? How do they structure client relationships, or how are they working for long-term success? Also, examine your own approach. Are you looking for someone to just handle a few tasks here and there, or are you open to providing a genuine business partnership? Are you willing to invest time upfront in training and in relationship building? Your mindset as a client is going to have a very large impact on your VA retention. The businesses that get the most value from their virtual assistants are those that are treating the relationship like they're hiring a key team member. They are providing clear expectations, regular feedback, opportunities for growth, and genuine appreciation for the contributions. They're also communicating regularly, and they're giving them access to really pivotal personal parts of their business. The more they give, the more that they're going to get back from their VA. In return, you're going to get virtual assistants who are invested in success and stick around for the long haul. Here's something that we've observed at Alpine Virtual. Clients who have been with the same virtual assistant for multiple years often report that their VA knows their business better than a lot of their in-house employees. That level of institutional knowledge and partnership is incredibly valuable, but it only develops over time. So, the myth that virtual assistants from agencies don't last long isn't just wrong. It's actually preventing business owners from accessing one of the most effective ways for them to scale their operations. When you are able to find the right agency with the correct approach, virtual assistant relationships can be some of the most stable and valuable partnerships in your business. But the key here is understanding what creates these lasting partnerships versus what is going to create turnover. It's not luck. It's not doing it on your own. It's not about finding just the perfect person for you. It is about systems that the VA agency has set up. It's about systems the VA has. It's about the approach, and it's about a mutual investment in the relationship. So if you've been hesitating to work with a virtual assistant because you're worried that they're just going to disappear, I want you to reconsider. The right partnership structured properly can give you years of support, and it can give you so much growth. But you need to know what to look for and how to approach the relationship from day one. What myths about virtual assistants have you heard that are holding you back? Drop them in the comments below.